Hello, it's not the Friday talkie. It's not even the right channel for that. What the hell is this? This is a talkie of sorts. It's a while since I've done one on here, but I've got one now. I've got 3 different subjects that all kind of are interconnected and roll into each other. And the first is a thank you. And it's a very overdue thank you, and I'm not even sure if the chap I'm thanking watches this channel, because he subscribes to my retro gaming channel and I'm subscribed to his channel. It's Jerry Joe 88. Now he shares an interest with me, or I share an interest with him, which is motor racing, specifically Grand Prix racing, and to a lesser extent MotoGP and motorsport in general. We're both into it in quite a big way. So before Christmas he sent me a message saying, would I like some, he's got like some magazine and newspaper and like programs and tickets and stuff from the American Grand Prix of last year? 2012. Wait, let's look and let's see. 2012 Grand Prix in Austin. Well, is it? What have we got here? Let's have a look. It is the Austin American Statesman, so it will be the Austin, Texas race. Yeah, he gave me this here magazine, which is it's very, very Formula One. I can't show you too much because copyright, but it's great because cookery tips. Okay. Yeah, it's really cool because it shows a side of Grand Prix that I don't see here. It's the American take on Grand Prix, and that's really cool. And the actual format of the magazine is not dissimilar to what you would find here, but the way it's the angle and the adverts. Oh, there are car adverts in this. I just sit and drool. And then there's this, which is the Austin American Statesman. I guess this is the sporting section. This bit here on the Grand Prix. Track earns high praise. F1 boss Eccleston and drivers give thumbs up to new layout. Yeah, and again, I've never come across a newspaper that's this shape. Things are just done different in America, without a doubt. Interestingly, a lot of this is football inside, but yeah, it's got a good couple of pages on F1, and again, it's all about the adverts. You don't get this over here. You don't get adverts for Dodge Dart and who is that, Ram pickup trucks and stuff, and Wrangler Sport Jeep. I like the look of that. Old style Jeep, kind of old style. Yeah, so it's really cool. Just being able to look through that and get a different perspective. And then what do we got here? Hall of Fame Museum brochure. Would we call it a brochure? Possibly. Ooh. Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of. Thank you for visiting the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame Museum. We have I wonder if that would be similar to the Goodwood Festival of Speed kind of thing, maybe, I don't know. Indianapolis MotoGP, Infineon Raceway. I didn't know that was actually a real place. I thought that was Gran Turismo. Indiana Indy GP. Yeah, more Indianapolis GP. And what do we got here? This is like a little program. Inaugural Red Bull Indianapolis GP motorbikes, I guess. Yes. And it's, what is this? This is a program, I believe, or shop, eat and play after the races. So it's race day information and stuff. Your little, it's kind of like flyer and advertising and stuff. at Indianapolis. In fact, well, no, that's Laguna Seca. So that's I've seen so much Indianapolis stuff. I'm like, yep, pay attention, Steve. Laguna Seca. I like Laguna Seca. Not that I've ever been there, but I do like racing it on Gran Turismo. So there we are. That is it's. Wherever put the envelope. It's in my hand. Really cool stuff. And big thank you to Jerry Joe 88, who sent all this over just before Christmas, and my apologies for not saying thank you sooner. Well, I sent a message, but you know, it deserves to be on video because it's very cool, and I do like looking at things like this. Now, this brings me, so I'll edit myself in a sec. Now, this brings me to my second subject. Is Grand Prix related. I watched the movie Rush yesterday, which is the legendary and historic rivalry between Niki Lauda and James Hunt. And it was a fantastic film and quite emotional in places. It certainly got to me because I remember that rivalry and those races. But that's not the thing that struck me about it. It really it struck a chord with me, or rather triggered something in me, and it was a particular scene, and that was when there was this scene taken from a helicopter, I guess, looking down towards and at the entrance of Eastern-Nessen, which is the stately home, or was the stately home, of Lord Hesketh. And Eastern-Nessen is situated just outside of Towcester in Northamptonshire. I used to live in Towcester, and at the time of those events, the events of that film, I lived in Towcester. And more than that, at that time my sister had a friend, and her friend's father was a chef, and he was the chef of Lord Hesketh, and we used to go and visit, so my sister could play with her friend where she lived, Eastern-Nessen. And I don't think I ever met Lord Hesketh, but I did bump into James Hunt. I didn't know who he was at that time. I've told this story before, I think, probably more than once. I used to play in the service corridors in Eastern-Nessen, and I was walking along one day, and I was probably 5 or 6. It was about 1975 or thereabouts. And I was walking along, and this guy in overalls walked past me, sort of looked at me, smiled, carried on walking, and I didn't think anything of it. Only later on I saw him on telly and realised, hold on a minute, I've seen that bloke, and it was none other than James Hunt. But the thing about this scene in the film that got me was the helicopter view towards the entrance, the big staircase entrance, pillars and everything, stone stairs, and to one side there were little curved staircases or something, whatever. I have stood there. I mean, that wasn't just some mock-up for the film, that was Eastern-Nessen, and the helicopter was coming down right slap bang where a helicopter happened to come down while I was 5 years old. I don't know why we happened to be standing there. There was me, my brother, sister, me mum, my sister's friend, her mum and dad, and some other people who I don't know who they were. And this helicopter came down about a few 100 feet away from us, and I just remember standing there thinking, wow, how cool is that? And it just, memories came flooding back when I saw this scene in the film. And the other thing it reminds me of is the kind of frame of mind, or the way I thought back then. I didn't, at 5 you don't understand how the world works. And I remember thinking, what a cool place this is. Now, I don't know if the scenes inside Eastern-Nessen that are in the film are shot in Eastern-Nessen, or are they in a studio? I don't know. But I do know that they got the decor right. because I have been in there and I do know what it looked like back then, and it looked like that. And I remember thinking, this place is fantastic, and not understanding how the world worked. I kept puzzling. Why did my dad choose to have the little place to live in that we live in? Why do we live in this little crappy house in Towcester? Why didn't he choose a house like this one? Didn't get it. Very much over my head at that time. Economics and finances and just buying the place you can afford. It didn't occur to me. I just thought you chose, you know, you looked around, you decided I'll have that house there, and went and lived in it. So why on earth would my dad choose this pokey, old, cold, damp, drafty, pretty grotty 200-year-old stone house in Towcester when there were houses like that? You know, East and Neston. Why couldn't we live in a house like that? Took me a while to get that one sort of clear in my head. Anyway, that brings me on to my third topic, which is Pattimus recently did a video response to, I don't know if it was a video asked by or a question asked by Ben at Summa Corinne. What is your dream home? And so anyway, I commented, I left a comment there, and she was like, right, so what's your dream home then? I don't know if that was the whole of the video was about dream home, but certainly that's the bit I'm responding to. My dream home. Money is no object, pretty much. That's how I'm treating it anyway. If I could live anywhere I wanted, where would it be? What kind of place would it be? And I've been pondering this actually ever since she asked me in the comments. Said, go on then, what's your dream home? It would be near the coast. I suppose around the area of Scarborough would be nice. I have to be very specific. It has to be high up. It's got to be on a hill. It's got to be far enough away from the sea itself so that erosion isn't a problem. I don't want any erosion. I don't want the cliffs falling into the sea and my house with it, and there's a reason for that, and there's a reason it's got to be on top of a hill. On the top of this hill I want a detached cottage, oldie worldy looking, but it's probably newly built, but it needs to be just kind of inconspicuous, nice oldie worldy inside, not even very big, but with big gardens, or I won't call it gardens. I want a big fence around the outside, or maybe a high wall, but it's like far enough back that it's not going to spoil the view. It's to keep the yobs out, or the zombies, if you like, or whatever. I mean, I kind of think I wouldn't want it where the castle is, because there's already a castle there. Oliver's Mount, yeah, that would be a good place to have it, except they've got that bloody great big mobile phone mast, and you get yobs up there. So one of the hills in or around Scarborough, something like that. Little cottage, big gardens with a wall. Let the dogs out so they can romp around and eat intruders. And if they bark, well, we're far enough away from anyone else that it won't matter. All of that is good. Bit of isolation, but near enough to somewhere cool, which would be Scarborough's cool, and you've got the seaside. But here's the important bit. I want it on the top of a hill, not for the view, but to keep it above the water table, well above the water table. And why does that matter? Because underneath this inconspicuous little cottage is a underground, well, what will we call it? Construction, shall we say. I would use the big 30-foot, are they feet? Yeah, they are. Containers that you get on the back of articulated lorries. They go on container ships and get shipped all around the world. I'd use them, and I'll put them in kind of a spoke pattern. You've got a central column thing, and out from that you'd have radiating these containers. And this will be multi-level, maybe 5 layers deep or something like that, and have it all surrounded with concrete, reinforced concrete. This is for all eventualities, and there would have to be like a tunnel leading away from the bottom of it to, say, some other inconspicuous little house that's maybe at the bottom of the hill somewhere, a good few 100 meters away from the house at the top. Yeah. And within all of these containers, they'd be like decorated and whatnot, and you'd have reflected sunlight from assorted greenhouses dotted around the big garden, and have, I don't know, a garden level within there. I mean, they plan things like this in other countries, like underground cities and shopping centres, and they're even doing it in some places. But I'd go low tech. I could just use containers. I'm not that fussed. Have some solar panels and things dotted around so we can have power. It's that ever since the Cold War I have always wanted my own bunker. So that's what I'd do. I'd have a multi-level underground bunker in a hill at Scarborough with a cottage on top looking out over the sea and the town. That would be my ideal home. Paranoid much? You never know when the zombies are going to come and get you. I think that answers that one. Now I just need to rob a few banks. I think that'll do. Thank you for watching.